was telling that for this conference I decided to illustrate one of my pictorial collections that I think well frames the concept of the interconnection between art and nature. My artistic path is mostly focused on the theme of nature and environmental issues. Since childhood, when I'm coming back from a trip to Kenya, I suffered from a strong pain of Africa, that one time people call Mount Africa. The vision of uncontaminated and wild spaces constitutes for me an ancestral recall to the state of nature and awakens a primitive state in which man and nature live in a deep symbiosis relationship. From these reflections comes, in artistic imagery, the need to communicate through art a message of environmental protection and conservation. The collection Extinction is developed over the years and starts in 2002 onwards and still in progress, and it's published on my first art catalog. The importance of conveying a message of awareness about environmental issues is the fundamental premise of this collection. At the age of 11, that first contact with the African nature aroused emotion that will deeply affect my existential perspective. The reticence towards the mediatic contamination of arts, the new technologies, and a virtual communication that impoverishes society and cultural aggregation led me to travel to Africa in the attempt to recover the lost contact with nature. Different techniques and styles characterize this constantly evolving production. The artwork that starts this pictorial research is the one you see now on the screen entitled Extinction. And he illustrates the central theme of the collection. The extinction of living species by investigating the existing relationship between man and nature. Man feels the ancestral recall of nature, while his reflection, represented through a game of spiral strokes, propagate all around in the form of concentric circles and incorporating the surrounding nature. A white rhino and some antelopes mingle in the bushveld of African savanna, arched by the warm sun. The figure of the thinker in the foreground represents a melancholic and introspective self. He observes a world that disappeared and the last animal specimen survived the extinction. I would like to start with this painting entitled Mother Africa, in which is expressed my personal experience. This painting can be read from two different points of view. The first one is the historical and topological point of view. The second one is the psychological and social meaning of the artwork. Starting from the first one, we know that Africa is considered the cradle of human origins. The man's slow journey begins from there during the lower Paleolithic, by starting the process of colonization of the other continents. The first fossil remains of the oldest species of Australopithecus afarensis and Africanus were found in the Olduvai Gorge along the tectonic rift that crosses Africa, divided it into parts. As you can see on the right side of the screen, the Great Rift Valley of Africa. In the painting, on a symbolic level, the rift corresponds to the back of the mother by representing the concept of the origin, the womb, and a protective armor regarding the figure of the white child. From the psychological point of view, however, the painting represents the feeling of estrangement, whose the process of homologation brought about by the technological era has taken away the possibility to be recognized and socially and professionally as individual and artist. This other artwork is strictly connected with the previous one and represents gestation of the previous one. The first sketch you see on the left side of the screen is made with tempera on painting and represents the prepared sketch of the work. The second one, made with oil on canvas, is the final result. In this case, all the attention is focused on the theme on the embrace of a black mother who wraps the white-skinned child in her womb and represents the love for diversity and the fight against prejudice, but also the mixing of the races and the feeling of estrangement compared to the context of belonging. So these two paintings are related in my pictorial activity. The sentence you see now encloses the meaning of my personal experience in the previous artwork. I wrote it after I made the painting. I decided to associate this picture taken by another of my collection entitled Amored Corpse, where the body is represented as a shell to protect itself against the prevarication of the power, the devastation of the world. So it makes it seem right to make a reference to actual war in Ukraine with this painting. During my dissertation, you will often see artwork analyzed by following a non-linear perspective from a chronological point of view, but according to the thematic order as in a retrospective. This painting, entitled Thinker and Owl, recalls the figure of the thinker inspired by the African wood sculpture and often present in my artwork of this collection as an expression of melancholic self towards a lost world. In this painting, there are two watercolors on canvas. You can see scenes of life in North African regions. The first one, entitled Desert, shows the figure of the thinker immersed in the metaphysical space of the desert, looking toward the viewer and testifying the consequent statement of detachment from the state of nature. The disappearing of civilization and the nostalgia for a lost world is instead represented in the other painting entitled Two Words, in which the folklore of artistic traditions stand out to represent the last testimony of a world that disappears. In the painting, the Two Worlds, you can see the two Africas represented in the opposite way compared to the real geographical location above the scenes of wildlife in southern Africa, below the popular North African artistic traditions, such as in the represented scene of Snake Charmer and Clayton playing the flute. The combination of stains of color recalls the weaving of oriental fabrics and the wear of time. The last artwork of this short retrospective is entitled Primitive Mother. There is also the title of one of my poem collection. Relates to the theme of motherhood in different ancient religious traditions. As you can see from the title of the poem, Enuma Elish referred to the famous book of creation belonging to the Babylonian population and written in Akkadian language during the late Bronze Age. sculptures of animistic traditions, and inspired by the African wood sculpture, but also to the famous female figures, the caryatids, of the Italian painter Amedeo Modigliani, my favorite painter. The caryatids were the women of Caria, ancient city of Laconia, Greece, that, according with the Roman artistic tradition of the writer Vitruvius, were enslaved by the Athenians for providing help to the Persians during the Persian Wars, and for this reason they were condemned to support the weight of the Greek temple and were depicted by Greek sculpture in the form of columns. But let's return to the theme of the collection. One of the causes of the extinction of several species is the sport hunting represented in the painting, hunting trophy. A blood sport still very much practicated and allowed by many African governments for economical purposes. Inherent in the title of the collection is in fact the denunciation of the massacre of endangered animals that will reach attention to some species subject to indiscriminate persecution of man. This slide shows some extinct species in nature. Among these you can see the wonderful Berber lions, also called lion of the Atlas, decimated since the time of ancient Rome, that imported them to North Africa, to Rome, for the fights against gladiators in the Colosseum. Its characteristic dark mane was subject to indiscriminate hunting that led to its extinction in late